Okay.
Okay, Dave, welcome back to Proline. We're doing an audio version this week. We had a little camera issue, but we're back and we'll correct that going forward. But most importantly, we have some good information to tell the people and some great offers.
That we do, and we're going to look at the Chargers-Giants game. It might be the battle of 0 and 4. Somebody's got to break through unless they play a tie, which is possible. So we'll talk about that game. NHL gets started tonight. I've already got one play in action. The baseball playoffs are underway with a pretty wild game last night as the Twins got three runs out of the gate, not Severino out of the game, but it wasn't enough. The Yankees pulled on. We go to the Diamondbacks hosting the Astros and the other play-in game tonight. So there's plenty going on for everybody. And of course, it's been kind of a difficult week for us out here in Las Vegas, to put it mildly. But like they say, the show must go on, Jim.
Well, dealing with the tragedy that we have, I want to say, I don't know what the right answer is for society and everything. I can't really answer that question. They're bigger questions than I'm capable of coming up with a solution for. But I do want to say how Vegas reacted to it. Our medical staff, our police officers, Metro, that's what they're called out here, Las Vegas Metro, and the whole community got together, and the lines of giving blood were 6 and 7 hours long. They got more blood than they needed. They actually had to tell the people not to show up to make appointments. The community came out, people delivering pizzas, people delivering water, the hotels stepping up and saying they could have free rooms because so many people there were so many people hurt, and their families that weren't here flew into Vegas, unfortunately, to deal with the death of almost 60 people and the injuries to over 500. It's been a tragedy. But the hotels put them up for nothing. And the community just did everything possible, giving people rides, just everything. The community stood up. Vegas is not just a gambling city. It's a city of great people. And, we're all from, most of us from back in the day were from the East Coast, and now there's a lot of West Coast people here too. We went from, when I got here, 105,000 people to over 2 million. We've seen a lot of integration here from everywhere. And it's a great city. People don't realize that we're not just the Las Vegas Strip. And we have big communities here, and everybody stood up and stepped up. And I'm very proud to say Las Vegas is my home. And I hate what happened, and I feel sorry for everybody. Everybody's very emotional about it. And, we're dealing with a lot of stuff. We've had a lot of tragedy around the country. We have 2 or 3 hurricanes. We had fires on the West Coast. It's been a messy time, but as a human race, we go through this all the time, and for the thousands of years, we've dealt with tragedy, and we bounce back. Human beings are tough. And we'll get through this, as the nation will and the world will, and we'll move forward. So sports, we've got, we have the Monday night fiasco. If you were on the wrong side and collected, well, God was shining down on you. If you're on the right side and lost your money, which I was one of those, I had Washington, and I was never a loser until the last 2 seconds. But in any case, we move forward. We've got a full card of college and pro. And Dave, I want to say to everybody out there that you've been doing really well.
It's been okay. I'm never satisfied. The only way I'm satisfied is I sweep the board. and even then, I'll look and say, well, I should have also had that game. So, and that's, I think, one of the reasons I'm pretty good at this is that I am never satisfied and never going to be in that situation where, well, just rest on my laurels and see what happens. It's an ongoing battle every day, and you just try and find the right spots, do the work, and hope it produces. One of the games we're going to look at this week, it's a fascinating matchup because you've got one unbeaten team left in the league. The Chiefs are the only 4-0 team in the league. But you've also got 2 0-4 teams. The the Chargers and the Giants, and as it happens, they meet each other this week, with the Giants being the home team. So, I actually wrote this in my blog. Well, somebody's got to break through. And then I realized, hey, wait a minute. That's not necessarily true. They could play overtime, and it could end up in a tie. And the way these two teams are going, that's not an outlandish thought. But I look at this game in a few different ways, and I came up with a side in this game, and it's the Chargers plus the points. Now, that line has moved a little bit. It opened 4, actually quickly kind of went up to 4.5 in some spots, and has now settled down at 3.5. There's been, if you see line movement early in the week in the NFL, that's generally sharper money. The square dollars usually don't show until game day. That's just the habits of bettors. The more sophisticated bettors like to try and get as much value as they can early in the week. So what there's been as far as sharp money in this game has been on the Chargers. And I agree with that for a couple of reasons. One is that if you look at the stats for the two teams, the Chargers have been better than the Giants over the first 4 weeks. I know the Giants had 2 games back-to-back now where they were both tough losses. The Eagles guy kicked a 61-yard field goal, and then they get beat at the buzzer by Tampa. But the Chargers have still overall been the better team. The other thing that really appeals to me here, and it's the reason I like the side more, the Chargers have no home field advantage. Jim, I've never seen this before, and we've been handicapping the NFL between us for about 80 years. And I have never seen a situation before where I give a team 0 and actually -1. I'm downgrading the Chargers 1 point. I have them for a -1 home field advantage. They're not drawing any fans at the soccer stadium, which is in Carson. I can tell you that there's no question that in this last game, the majority of the fans were rooting for the other team. It's unbelievable. And, well, no, it's not unbelievable. It actually is believable, but it's still kind of bizarre. I think they've got an advantage going on the road at this point. I think they're better off being a road team because you get points for them being on the road, and it's not a disadvantage for them from a scenario standpoint. So to me, if this game were in Carson, the Chargers would probably be about a 1-point favorite, and there's no way I'd play the game. In fact, I might actually look at the other side. But with the game being on the East Coast at the Giants, now there's a home field advantage for the Giants, and I don't think there's a road field disadvantage for the Chargers. So to me, you've got value built in on the Chargers side right away.
Well, Dave, I agree with you, and as a matter of fact, I would have to say that you could say the Chargers are playing 16 road games this year.
Yeah, really.
First of all, Los Angeles did not want them there. The city of Carson was the final. That's a landing spot for them. This really is the San Diego Chargers with no home. And
well, not only that, and here just to add to that, most of the players still live in San Diego.
Right.
They're actually commuting to the game, so they're traveling to their own home games.
Which makes it 16 road games. And why I just mentioned, they're the San Diego Chargers with no home in L.A. And, L.A. is a city of transplants, just like Vegas is, and a lot of people came from the East Coast. So when people come to play there, they might be coming there to see the other team because that's where they're from, or that's what they're rooting for. So you're really not dealing with... It's an unfortunate situation that this happened in the first place. But as far as the Giants are concerned, I mean, when you're 0-4 and you got 3 teams in your division that are better than you at this point, they're not going anywhere. Eli's at the tail end of his career. The coaching staff is, harassed. You got Beckham, who does all kinds of nonsense at the sidelines, and he's a kid in a man's body. But do you remember? I don't remember what year it was, but the 2 quarterbacks, you're talking about Rivers and Manning, and in the beginning when they both came out the same year.
Yes.
They did.
Along with Big Ben.
Yes, but this was supposed to be, Manning was supposed to go to the Chargers. And do you remember how that went down? That was an interesting story.
Yeah. Oh, sure do, because he told them in advance, I won't sign with you. And he didn't.
In the meantime, he has 2 Super Bowl rings, and Rivers has none. And
Rivers isn't going to have one either.
What's that?
I said, and Rivers isn't going to get one either.
No, he's not. But they had a team out there many years ago that was probably the best in football, but the coaching and the ownership of that team for the Chargers just blew it totally. But anyway, as far as this game is concerned, I 100% agree with you. I think that I think the game is maybe a 2. The line should maybe 1.5 or 2. I think when anybody that got the 4 got a blessing there, because that's way too much. And the 3.5s are still out there, and definitely I'd be betting the Chargers plus 3.5. There's another line move. Kansas City came off that amazing win on Monday night, which makes it a shorter week. And now they're playing at Houston. And, the Houston's going to remember the thrashing they took last year from this team in the playoffs. And Houston's playing pretty well. So that's a Sunday night game that should have a lot of fireworks. Now, Kansas City's the only undefeated team in football right now. And Houston with Deshaun Watson has been playing extremely well. They put up, 57 last week against Tennessee. Now that was, granted, Mariota got hurt in the game, but that was later in the game, and they had been thrashing Tennessee anyway. So there's a lot of good games on the board this week. I mean, I don't know if there's another game you want to specifically talk about, but, they got Mariota I don't know if he's playing or not. They haven't decided. You got Oakland. There's an injury there for Oakland with their quarterback and Carr. You got Minnesota. It's an interesting situation with Minnesota on Monday night. They got the Bradford injury when they went to Case Keenum, and now Delvin Cook is out for the year. And Chicago has benched Glennon and going with Trubisky. That is not a downward move, because it's either equal or it's better for Chicago, because yes, he's a rookie. Yes, he has no experience, but Chicago looked really bad last week with Glennon at the helm. So that's our Monday night game, which we're going to get to see a brand new quarterback in the league that looked pretty darn good in the preseason. I don't know how much that's going to matter, because Minnesota does have a pretty good defense.
I'll mention one other thing before we close it up. And this has to do with, we talked about this earlier in the broadcast, on the podcast, about sophisticated bettors getting in early on games to get the most value. You can also set up some really advantageous situations for yourself. Now, all my clients on Sunday night got a play from me on LSU. At the time, the line was 6.5, and I recommended buying the +7 -120. Now, I don't like LSU in the game, but I sent it out immediately, because when you've been doing this a long time and you have a good feel for it, you know where the lines are going to go. And that line was simply too high, and there was zero question in my mind, none, that this line would come down at least 3 points. In fact, it come down more than that. So what I did today was I sent out to all my clients who got the LSU +7 -120, Florida -3. We now have a fantastic middle on what figured to be a close game. So basically getting 20-1 odds for a small investment. LSU +7 and Florida -3. That's part of the reason that if you're going to do this seriously, you've either got to have a good feel for where lines are going to go yourself, or get with somebody who knows what they're doing as far as that goes. There's more than just handicapping selections in this business. It's handicapping what the line is going to do and being able to take advantage of it. So that's another reason to try and connect with Jim and myself as far as getting plays are concerned, because you'll also get stuff like this that, this could really pay off nicely. If you've got 1 unit on LSU at +7 and 1 unit on Florida -3, game lands anywhere in between there, you're going to pick up 2 units. The most you're going to lose is 1/10 of a unit. That is called a great bet.
And you can also side the play. If it lands the 3 or the 7, you'll win one side and push the other. Yeah, that's information that the average person never gets. And if they really want to play and win, it's really hard to do on your own if you don't have the time. I mean, I spend 16 hours a day reading and studying and listening, trying to pick up little bits of information here and there. I mean, let's talk a little bit about baseball. I mean, baseball now is getting, and I know this is your sport, so I'm really kind of walking a thin ice here talking about baseball with Dave Koken, because you've been an expert at this for years. But look at this sale and how the season has progressed. Now, I don't know if you followed this guy. He's a tremendous pitcher, left-hander. Just a tremendous pitcher. But look at who he's going up against with Verlander. Verlander moves from Detroit down to Houston, and he has been absolutely amazing. And, the price on the game, with the home team being that short of a price, I mean, I was seeing like 108, 110, 112, 116. These numbers on Houston at that level. To me, Chris Sale has dropped off a little bit from April and May and June. He's thrown a lot of innings. He's never been in this spot. And what happened with Verlander, he's been decent all year, but once he got to Houston and he's in the middle of a playoff chase, this guy has been absolutely nothing short of amazing. And quite frankly, I think the price should have been $150 because of the current form of both pitchers.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, Verlander's been money in the bank. Now, one thing, the Astros are not as prolific against lefties as they are against righties. And I think John Farrell's made a good move here using Sale and then Palmer in Game 2. He's going to try and win one of those games in Houston with a lefty. And if he does that, the Red Sox will have the home field advantage at that point. So we'll see how that goes. I have not yet gotten involved in that game. And as far as tonight's game, I haven't made a play yet, but I might get involved later in the day.
I do want to ask you another question about baseball, Dave. Cleveland has posted Bauer as the first game starter. Why would they pass Kluber to go to Bauer?
I guess I think he's trying to set up the next series.
Well, you still got to win this one. I mean,
yeah, he's got Kluber and Carrasco in games 2 and 3. So I think they're in pretty good shape. I don't see the Yankees beating him. I mean, anything's possible. It's a short series, and the Yankees can hit the hell out of the ball. But I think Cleveland's just got too much pitching for the Yankees, and I think that's going to be the difference in the series. And look, Bauer's thrown the ball pretty well down the stretch. He's very capable of having a good game.
I think from a starting pitching standpoint, Cleveland has a big advantage. But when you look at the bullpen of the Yankees, they're as good as anybody.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I think Betances has hit a terrible slump. And it showed last night. I mean, it's an 8-4 game in the 8th inning, and he never even brought him in. He didn't even warm him up.
Yeah, well, they had other guys. They had other guys they used, and they went 8 2/3 inning, giving up 1 run. In 8 2/3 inning, gets a pretty good hitting ball team in tennis in the Twins. So that bullpen was pretty strong last night.
It was, but the thing is that Betances, the strength of the bullpen is supposed to be the 8th and 9th inning guys. Chapman's all right; he's rounded back into form, but Betances has been horrible down the stretch, and I think Girardi's lost confidence in him. I think that's going to be a problem. And the Cleveland bullpen is better than the Yankees bullpen anyway. Cleveland's bullpen is really strong. Yankees also lose. They got a lot of pitches out of some guys last night. They might not be available in Game 1, or if they are, it's going to be for a very short stint. So I don't have any problem at all with what Francona did here.
I haven't seen a Yankees starter posted yet. Have you?
No.
Okay.
Although I don't have my screen in front of me.
Okay.
So, and I hadn't really looked at that this morning.
I got about 20 screens open in front of me right now. So Dave, you're going to have some hot plays this weekend. You'll have baseball plays, you'll have football plays, college and pro, and they're all going to be posted.
The NHL.
Oh yeah, and the NHL as well. That's right.
did very well in the NHL last season, and I'm looking to do more of the same this year.
Well, our plays are available at jimfeist.com, and just check it out. It's a simple site. We've got some good information there. In college basketball, we will have the fast facts for college hoops, and that's starting soon too. And so is the NBA. This is a great time of year, Dave. We've done this for collectively, like you said, 80 years. It's actually more than that, but we're not going to date ourselves any more than that. But anyway, my plays are there. Also, we have Hank Goldberg, who posts sports and horses, and his horses have been amazing. So I can only tell you that we bet them, and we've been collecting money. So you might want to check that out too.
There you go. Go to jimfights.com, and right now I've got an under-the-hat play in college football and another one tonight in the NHL. And we will do this again very shortly. For Jim Fights, I'm Dave Token. Thanks for listening to Pro Line.
Thank you, everybody.